Hey, and welcome back to the Life Not Small podcast, where we get real about the importance of having the right mindset and living your most authentic and fulfilling life. I'm Brandon Small, a mindset coach and someone who believes that everyone's stories matters, no matter if you're famous or just now figuring out what it is that you want to do. This show is for anyone who's ever felt stuck, faced unexpected roadblocks, or wondered if they have what it takes to keep pushing forward. We talk about resilience, rejection, motivation, and the mental game. Because success isn't just about talent, it's about how you handle everything in between. So, whether you're an athlete, a creator, a parent, or just someone trying to figure out how to build a life that's not small, this one's for you. Let's dive in.
And then I hope when I see people who are like, oh, like, this is James, he's putting himself out there. Like, look at all these videos that he's creating. That's what I want people to know me as. Like, basketball is my life. It still is my life. I love talking to people, love getting to know people. I want people to know me as James, like the podcast host, not James, the electrician.
Right. I wanted to ask you a little bit before, kind of like about your experience or relationship, kind of like with basketball, because I know you talked about there was like a low point where you kind of weren't playing as much. So can you kind of like walk me through a little bit about like overall relationship with the game?
I think I was starting out as an electrician. I fell off a ladder and tore my meniscus and ACL,
Oh,
and I really got hurt really bad. It was right around when COVID happened. I needed a knee surgery, and they delayed it because COVID. So I was out of work for like 2.5 years because after my first surgery, I retore everything. But that whole process of trying to reconstruct my knee and my meniscus and my ACL, I've never had an injury like that before. And then even after the surgery, I think I gained like 70 pounds. I was 285 pounds. I was huge, and I let myself go. My anxiety was through the roof. My morale was really low. Even 2 years after, it took me 7 years to get back on the court because I looked at it like if I do one quick move, I'm gonna tear everything. Like I was so scared to get hurt again that it was affecting me playing the game that I love. And I spent so much time inside doing absolutely nothing. And uh, that was the longest 2 years of my life, just trying to recover and trying to stay positive and thank God that I have um, a girlfriend who has supported me through everything. And she stuck by me when I haven't really given her much of anything. Um, so, I mean, now that I'm 30 and just starting to get back into a healthy routine, but for a good 7 years, man, like I was in a very dark place. I kind of still am, but like I'm trying to get out of it. But I mean, when people say like, "Oh, like I'm in a rut," I was in a rut for a while, and I would play mind tricks with myself and make myself think that I was happy when I really wasn't. So I mean, yes, the injury was um, a big downside, but when I got cut from LaSalle's basketball team, that kind of like was like, okay, like I'm not good enough to play, so I'm not gonna play anymore. Like it kind of killed my spirits because like I work so hard at something, you work so hard at something, and then you don't see results. And I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and kept failing and failing. And I'm like, well, I don't see the point of continuing. So I mean, like I said, 7 years, it, I was in a very very dark place.
oh, that's tough. And yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that injury alone sounds crazy. Like the recovery from that and like everything that comes with that, like that's incredibly tough. And
yeah,
I can definitely see, how you kind of got into that place and, I appreciate you kind of like sharing that and being open with like talking about it because like I know it's a very hard thing to even like to go through it and also talk about. And I'm glad to hear that you feel like you're coming out of it and it's like not as bad as it was and that the podcasting and stuff has been helping. So like that's awesome. I feel like finding something that kind of gives you something to look forward to is always a good way to kind of start building back like your excitement for what it is that you want to do.
yeah, absolutely.
And what would you say, other than like not being able to play the sport, would you say it was kind of like not doing something that you were passionate that was really leading to a lot the turmoil in that time?
I mean, I just I was lost, and I mean, I'm still not where I want to be, even
Mm,
at this point and stage in my life. But I mean, I was struggling to find like my purpose in life, and I mean, it's really tough to explain because like there wasn't really much going on. I really, I just chose to shut everything out. I lost a lot of friends. I pushed people away, and I just kind of isolated myself from everything. And I think COVID kind of, a lot of people are like, "Oh, COVID was so special." Like COVID ruined me. I mean, to be like, I was going through that time where I was waiting for my surgery, and am I ever gonna get better? Is my knee ever gonna be 100% again? And like I said, I mean, 7 years later, it kind of feels like I wasted my 20s away because I just chose not, I just didn't care. I don't, I didn't think that I was good enough at basketball. I didn't think I was good enough at anything. I was very, very, very low. And like I said, like I kept gaining more weight. I kept resulting to food as a coping mechanism. I would I would drink like 8 to 10 sodas a day, just anything to like take the edge off of what I was feeling. And um like people don't really tell you like how much like processed food and caffeine and all that stuff has on like your attitude, your outlook on life. And I was just like, if you were around me during that time, like I was not a great person to be around. I was so negative. And looking back on it, it's just like I I don't I don't know how I let myself get to that point.
yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like the things that we're doing, especially the not working out too. You know what I mean? Like not only was it a stress relief because it was something you love to do, but also like the physical side of being able to like get up and move your body. You know, like so that's kind of like a double edged sword too. And then like with the eating and stuff too, is kind of like adding on top of it, making it harder. So then it's like you feel worse, so then it's making your mind feel worse too. So I definitely get that.
Yeah.
And what do you kind of feel like helped you start to get out of that and kind of like change your mindset around to be a more positive?
I mean, seeing my daughter, and first of all, like I don't push her into anything she doesn't want to do. Like she genuinely loves basketball too. So when she started to play, I started coaching all her sports teams, started getting more involved in her life. I realized like, okay, like if I want to be around for her and I want to be around for a long time and I want to, I want to play sports with her and get up and down, like I need to change the way I'm living my life. Um, I got food poisoning over Christmas, and I went to the doctors, and I was kind of sitting. I was throwing up in the doctor's office, and I'm like, it was kind of like a full circle moment. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, are you gonna continue to live your life like this? Like, the reason you have food poisoning is because once, obviously, fast food, like no one takes care of the food sometimes, but it's like the amount of fast food that I was consuming on a daily basis was just inhumane. And it's like that kind of like jump started me to like be like, okay, like I need to take this seriously because I would always talk myself into being like, okay, I'm gonna get healthy, I'm gonna work out, everything. I would talk myself up and then I would slip up after a day or two. So I think what this time around, like my daughter's everything to me, and like wanting to be around for her for the long term, and and like really trying to focus on like what makes me happy because like I deserve to be happy too, and I'm trying to I'm trying to find that happiness, and I think that I'm actually getting on a routine that I'm sticking to, and I can think clear now. And but I think my daughter's the reason that I really turned my life around.
That's awesome. That's great. It sounds like a really amazing reason. And that's also kind of the reason you wanted to start coaching as well, too.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
and I want to coach more too, and I know the game. I know basketball so much, and even I coach soccer and any sport. Like I just really want to coach sports the right way because I keep hearing about how youth sports they're not teaching the right things,
Mm,
and I'm very passionate about giving these kids a person to rely on and to look up to. And we're not just coaches at the end of the day, we're therapists too. We have to deal with emotions. We have to deal with like what you do in your job. Like you said on my show, like you really have to pay attention to the person as an individual. You really have to like what makes them tick, what sets them off. It's like you have to focus on all these things, not
mhm,
just coaching the sport. So um like I said, if um I just wanted to be that person to really have like I just want to be that person that kids can look up to and be like he's doing the right thing. Like look at him. So
mm. That's amazing. That's awesome.
thank you.
And like kind of throughout your experience, did you have a coach that was like that or someone that you kind of like shaped that after?
Yeah, it was like I think when I played CYO and suburban basketball, like my junior high, middle school days of basketball, that was like the most fun I've ever had. And like my my coach believed in me. Like he was the only one that believed in me. And um he put me in positions to succeed, and I think that's huge. Um, and I showed up to practice every day with and I worked hard, and I feel like if you work hard at something, you deserve to be rewarded. And what I took from him the most is that um, he said like, yeah, like this is a game, but what are you gonna what are you gonna do after basketball's all done? Because you can't rely on basketball for your whole entire life. So what are you gonna do where are you going to be in 5 years from now? Where are you going to put yourself in a position to succeed?
Mhm,
Because I feel like a lot of kids are flooded with that, um, flooded with the reality and the fantasy of playing sports their whole life and getting millions of dollars when 1% of people really go on to make millions. And it's like, what are you doing to put yourself in the best possible position to succeed? And he's teaching me these things when I'm like not even in high school yet. So I think he's the his name is Coach Dean. I call him. He's the coach that I really looked up to, and then it went all downhill from there after I went to high school. But
mhm. They were all bad.
yeah, I just my high school coach just didn't care, and I still have the same work ethic, but there is a whole high school sports are so political now, and it's just if you didn't have a well-known last name, you weren't playing, or if you weren't um, supporting the booster club or supporting the team financially, then you weren't playing. Um, so I mean, I think that I didn't have access to the resources that other kids did because I grew up in a low income household, and I just yeah, like I said, money was a big issue. And they say money doesn't run the world, but it does. I mean, I see so many people now paying for personal trainers and stuff. I never had that growing up. So I mean, but yeah.
And so, like, what would you say, kind of like, for kids now that are in that situation where they might be on a team where that might be part of the reason that some people get playing time. You know, how can they kind of like figure out a way to stay positive and kind of figure out a way to still build their skills like while working in a system like that?
I would say be up be up your coach's ass. I mean, there's only so much that you can do as a player. You can go up to him and be like, "Hey, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not out there?" If you ask these questions and you ask the uncomfortable questions, you get not only the coach thinking, but the team as a whole thinking. And it's like if you're putting in the work every day and you're wondering why you're not on the floor and you're not getting a good response from your coach, then it's like your coach is supposed to have the answers for you. And it's tough because I mean, from my standpoint, I just wish my coach would tell me like, "Oh, I'm not good enough," but he never told me that. He would always beat around the bush about it and be like, I would ask him for film for college, and he'd be like, "Oh, my laptop broke." There was always an excuse. He was always focused on doing enough to get by. And I feel like if you're not getting those answers from your coach, it's kind of tough to keep that mindset. And it's like, I mean, there's only like I said, there's only so much you could do as a player. And I feel bad for the kids who, you know, who have the ability to take that leap, but are being held back by these coaches they're because all coaches want to do, especially in youth sports, is want to win. They want to win, 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 win. And if you're not going to do that, and it's tough too. I still don't have the answers to it. It's just it's a very tough spot to be in, and I just want people to realize like okay, like yes, this kid might have all the money in the world, has all the connections in the world, but this kid puts in the work. He studies film. He does the extra stuff, but he's not playing. Like I don't understand. Like make it make sense. Like it just doesn't make sense. And some teams are like that. And I feel like I'd say to that kid, it's like, okay, like you need to at the end of the day you need to do what's best for yourself. If you're not getting those answers from your coach and you're not playing, go somewhere that can give you that opportunity. You're
Hmm.
not being selfish. You're not you're not letting that team down. You're saying I want to grow, this team isn't helping me grow, I'm going to go somewhere that's going to make me grow. And it's
Hmm.
like I feel like a lot of kids don't speak up, and that's a huge problem.
Right. That's very true. And then, you know, what I mean, other than speaking up, what would you say that like young athletes today is something that they need that like they're not getting? Like I know you said that like kids are getting personal trainers paid for them. Like obviously, like sports science technology has improved in a lot since we were in school, even, you know. So do you think there's anything that they're kind of like missing for young athletes?
They're getting babied. And what I mean by that is um when they're going down the court, not playing good defense. They're not getting they're not getting told they're doing the wrong thing. So what they think is acceptable, they continue to play like that, and they continue, and then it leads off the court. Then they're not showing up to practice, or they're going through the motions in practice. I feel like, and it's from a coach's perspective too. It's like, oh, like we're seen as babysitters sometimes, and it's like you're really trying to deal with emotions. And a lot of kids these days are very very sensitive, and you can't do a lot of things that you could do when we were growing up. So I
Mm.
mean, having that tough love, that makes people better in my opinion. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, you made that three, but you had someone open in the corner. What did you do after you made that three? You celebrated. You didn't go back on defense, and then you let up a wide open layup. So it's like I think a lot of kids work ethics are lacking because the coaching isn't there, because we're letting kids get away with stuff when we should be correcting it.
Hmm. Right. And I think, you know, I feel like it might come down to I was thinking about this earlier, like where you're trying to play at. You know, like if you're going into an environment where like people are trying to be the best, like it is very cutthroat. Like you're gonna experience a lot of, different things than if you just go play in like a rec league for fun, you know? And so
Mm,
like I think if you're playing in a competitive league and like if this is what you're looking for, this is what you're gonna get kind of thing, right? So it's like, are
yeah,
we here to have fun or are we here to get better? So it's like where is the focus really at? You know what I mean? And like the players have to, you know what I mean? Obviously lead that because they have to like take agency of whether or not they're actually going to try or not, right?
you're right. Um, and even that nowadays, it's like if you don't have the work ethic, even in sports, it translates to your life. Like, how do you live your life? Do you live your life like you're playing your sport? Are you going through the motions? Are you not saving money? Are you racking up credit card debt? Did you not listen in college and you just skated by and now you're in a bunch of debt and you don't know what to do and you're unemployed and you don't want to work? Like I've seen so many kids nowadays that don't want to have a job because they think that they can blow up on TikTok and make videos.
Mm,
And it's like I see it in my field too. It's like these kids are are making TikToks at work, and it's like, okay, like you should be focusing on work. Like, but I don't know that. Like I said, like the next generation, I'm kind of scared because I don't think that they're prepared, and I don't think we as coaches and parents and teachers, I don't like I said, if they look at a kid and they're like, "Oh, this kid's not going to try," we're going to give like a lot of kids are being given up on because they take one look at them and they're like, "Oh, they're not interested. Look at this guy's attitude." It's like, okay, he might have the worst attitude ever, but deep down, if you really pry at it and chip away, there's a good kid under there. You just have to put in the legwork, and unfortunately, we don't have good role models nowadays.
mm. Yeah, I mean they are few and far to come by sometimes, especially
Right.
like in competitive sports. Like it's hard when the coach's job is dependent on them winning. You know what I mean? Like obviously like it's competitive, like you want to win, but like you know what I mean? Like if I don't win, like I'm out of a job. Like now it's about my family I'm trying to feed too. It is like having the ability to take yourself out of like certain situations. Like it's not fair to judge kind of like yourself or your abilities off of one situation, off one team, off one tryout, when there are so many other variables that aren't just about like your skill level. You know what I mean? So it's like that's why I feel like the mental side of like understanding how to look at something differently so that it doesn't like completely change the way you feel about like the game. Like realizing that you've reached your limit for like your skill level doesn't mean that like you can't play like at your skill level below or continue to get better. It's like the more you build your skills, like you're gonna continue to get better than the people who aren't. So it's like over time, as long as you're having fun and like, getting your exercise, that's what's important. And like
Yeah.
that's what I don't like is when I feel like when things happen with coaches that ruin kids' love for the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he even played anymore. That's not great.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that with any of the kids you've coached at this point? Like, kind of having to tell someone that they weren't serious about the game, or having someone tell you that they didn't want to play anymore?
I mean, I coach 6-year-olds, so it's
Mm,
kind of I haven't coached like older kids in a long time. I'm trying to get into that. Um, I think I've had kids come up to me and be like, I don't want to play this sport anymore, or it's like, oh, my dad is forcing me to play this sport, and I'm just here and and everything. And I mean, I kind of try to make it fun for them because I mean, they could be like I said, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So for 6-year-olds, you want to make it fun and exciting. And I don't really critique much at that age. And I kind of just encourage, like, oh, like, good job getting a shot off, or good job passing to your teammate. It's like reassuring these kids, like, you're doing a good job. Thank you for showing up, even when you might not want to. And then you crack a joke and it's all over. And like their feeling of not wanting to play anymore goes straight out the window because you got down on their level and related to them and made it fun for them and made it less serious.
Mm,
Um, as for kids that are a little older, it's okay, like what are like so basically I had a kid come up to me, said like he doesn't want to play anymore because he doesn't think he's good. And I'm like, well, did you ask those questions? Like, um, I've told you every time you go up, you're not going up strong enough. You're you're looking for a foul. You're not. You're you're going up soft. You're you're fading away like you don't want to take the contact. And it's like these kids think like they're doing everything wrong, but it's like you pointed out what they're doing wrong, but they continue to make the same mistake. I'm like, okay, we're playing a 3-2 zone. You go out there and play man. I didn't say that. I said 3-2 zone. So I feel like um parents are destroying kids too, especially when it's like, oh, like you need to shoot that. You need to shoot that. Like be more aggressive. It's like they're listening to their parents. They're not listening to you. They're trying to make their parents proud and not what's good for the benefit of the team. And I feel like parents don't understand that because they just want their kid to score to score the basketball.
mm,
And and it like I said before, it's kind of a touchy subject. But like what I say to kids who don't want to play, it's like, well, why do you feel like this? If is there a reason behind why you don't want to play, or do you not just want to play? Like tell me what's up. If you're
mm,
not playing, this is why you're not playing. Because you have a bad attitude, you're not showing up for practice. Um, when you're in practice, you're going through the motions, you're talking with uh you're getting other people in trouble because you're not paying attention. So I
mm,
mean, when when I got kids who are upset about playing time, like I always give them reasons um and when they do correct those issues, they see the floor more. They're
mm,
like, "Oh, like now I get it." It's like, "Okay, like all you had to do was ask that question and see where I'm coming from instead of trying to make your dad happy on the
mm,
sideline because he's living life through you." And
mm,
that's not and it's like, but then I have kids who are like, "Oh, I don't like this sport. My dad's forcing it on me. He's forcing me to play." It's like, "Okay, like in that stage, that kid's already burnt out. He doesn't want to play anymore because he's so sick and tired of showing up, practicing, going through the motions, and he doesn't want to play anymore. So it's like, okay, like then you have that conversation with their parents. It's like, but like you can't say to a parent like, "Oh, you're you're ruining Johnny's time playing basketball. Like you're doing too much." You can't have those conversations. And I
mm,
mean, when a kid's already burnt out like that, it's very, very hard to recover from that
mm,
if they're not willing to take criticism and and be coached. So
mm.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds extremely tough. Like I can, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I can't imagine that, being told what to do with your kid is not something that people with kids like. And I can only imagine it's worse if you go and tell them that and they're like, I already know, but they're going to do it anyway. And they're just like, all right, well, this is not good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, like I had a kid, I literally was like, all right, like subs. There was a kid who was crying. He was overwhelmed. He didn't want to play, and I was waiting for him to come on. And I told this other kid to get off the court, and my girl told me that um, his father told him to go back on the court, and he's like, "I'm on." I'm like, "No, I told you to get off." He's like, "No, I'm playing." I'm like, "No, you're off the court. Like, go sit down, please." And he goes to sit down, and then the kid that was crying and overwhelmed didn't want to play, so I chose someone else.
Mm,
And it's like you like that's what I mean. Like kids are listening to their parents more than they're listening to their coach.
Mm,
So it's like if I tell you to get off the court, I'm telling you to get off the court for a reason. Like I'm trying to get people on. I was waiting for a kid because he was upset, he was overwhelmed, he didn't know what to do, he didn't want to play. I was waiting for him to see if he wanted to come on. You don't just come on the court and expect to play. And it's like that's tough. That's
yeah,
really tough to manage.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and while and that's just one kid and one parent. There's a whole team of them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, one of the last questions I kind of want to ask you is kind of like, what's your goal for the next 5 years? Like, ideally, where would you want to be at? If you could kind of choose, like, would you want to be doing your degree and working somewhere, kind of like in doing sports reporting? Would you want to continue kind of like build the online presence, or like, what do you have in store?
I kind of want this podcast to be a place like a All the Smoke podcast, or I mean the Jeff Teague podcast, or Gil's Arena, where I can actually sit down and have people come on my show, and like we can be in the studio and I don't have to record off of Zoom. I can have these people in person and like talk. I still think that I'm going to be in my career that I am now as an electrician because it is good money and I just need to put the work in and everything. But I'll use that paycheck and to fund this. And it's like eventually in the next 5 years, I hope that the podcast will make some money. And, in another 5 years, I would like to quit my job and do the podcasting full time. That's the goal. And I mean, I'm never gonna I mean, I'll always have those days where I don't feel like posting and doing anything, but I'll never give up on it. And but yeah, I think the next 5 years I want to be in a house. I just want people to look at me and be like, he's doing the right thing. He's going somewhere in life. He's doing everything the right way. And I want people, I mean, they say to not really care about what other people think, but I mean, I would love in the next 5 years to not have any negative thinking. Not to get too off topic, but I want my podcast to take off, and I just want to not worry about living paycheck to paycheck,
Mhm.
and I want to get out of debt, and I really want to start making the right decisions instead of making decisions that'll set me back.
It sounds like you've been making a lot of really great changes and you've been making a lot of other right decisions, and I'm sure that you can easily do that. And I feel like the only way the podcast like won't work is like if you stop working on it. It's like eventually, what I mean, like the more content you put out, the more people listen to it, the more it'll grow. So it's like it seems like you have the right goals in mind and you know what you want. So I feel like it'll definitely happen for you, and I hope that you are met with more positivity and like support. And like I feel like the more you put yourself out there, the more people will feel more comfortable to kind of like talk about their struggles and the experiences they've been through. So like I feel like your community will start to grow. And I will just say that I love your goals and the way that you kind of like explain them, but it is interesting that the you want other people to notice and see it. Like, is the value in doing the thing or having it be noticed? Like, would it be as
So
valuable if your podcast like blew up, but like no one you knew ever really saw it or knew about it, kind of thing?
so that's a really good question. When I say like I want people to notice, I'm really talking about my family. I have no connection with my family, and I want them to see me doing well without them because my family doesn't think that I can do anything. They still think I'm like the 15-year-old kid again. So I kind of want them to see like I'm doing better without them. And then other people it's like, "Oh, like he's putting himself out there. He doesn't care what the feedback is. He's just doing it because he wants to do it." And a lot of people once their podcast blows up, their mind shifts once they get that money. I never want to I hope I never have that. And I just want to keep doing it. And like want to keep bringing people on here that have interesting stories. And I'm not talking about like famous people. I'm talking about an ordinary Joe, like someone who loves basketball, who can relate to it. And like I said, every story deserves to be heard. And if your name comes across my catalog of the list of names, like, I want to talk to you. If it can relate to basketball or not, I just want to hear your story. And it's like there's so many kids out there that don't have the resources like we did growing up. I want to be that person to give them that resource to be like, hey, like, oh my god, like, I'm on a podcast, like, look at this, like, look at me, like, I'm on a show, like. So it's like creating a sense of like, okay, like, you don't have to be famous to be on this show. Like,
Mm.
you could be you could be anybody, all walks of life. And I just want people to know, like, my podcast is a safe space.
Mm. And I really love that. Like all stories have value, and it's like it's something that I feel like I experience a lot when I hear people talk about kind of like their past and the way they kind of downplay their achievements and like what they've done. And like, everyone had a different experience in life and everyone did something that, is incredible in its own right. We should all kind of like be proud of that, not try to like aim for the top being the only thing that means like you did good or you did well. You battled through a lot of stuff and made it through. Like that alone is like a win. So
Yeah,
like I
absolutely.
know it's super tough, like the connection with your family stuff. I know is definitely hard, but I will say that, like what you're doing is something that they're going to be proud of for sure because it's something that they probably never expected or saw from you, and it would be great if you could ever hear that from them. But like even if you don't, you should know that like it is very impressive what you've done and like what you'll continue to do.
I appreciate it. This is actually the first time that I'm being interviewed, so it's kind of funny because I'm the one doing the interviewing. So
Yeah, no, I was like last time we did it, we didn't really get to talk too much about you. So I was glad we got a chance to kind of get around and talk about it. But was there anything else you kind of wanted to talk about that you didn't get a chance to mention before, or any other last questions or anything?
if you have something that you really want to do, don't, like, make sure like you stick with it. And there's gonna come times where you might not want to continue at it, but keep your mind on it and chase your dreams, as cliche as it sounds, because you deserve to be happy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone deserves to be happy. Follow your dreams, no matter what people say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast to talk today, and I look forward to continuing to watch your videos, and hopefully we can do another talk again soon.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
If this conversation resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit subscribe on Spotify or YouTube so you don't miss the next one. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, then share it with them. These stories matter, and they matter even more when we pass them forward. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Life's Not Small. I'm sharing coaching tips, mindset tools, and behind the scenes content throughout the week of me working with clients and just my conversations with people. And if you're ready to do the work and want some coaching support and want to just find out more about the possibilities, head to lifesnotsmall.com. Thanks for listening, and remember, whatever you want to do in life, don't do it small. See you on the next episode.